Today's topic is who is protected under Constitution Article 153 and who is actually benefited. To answer the questions, we go to Constitution's Article 153, reservations of quotas in respect of services, permits, etc. for Malays and natives of any of the states of Sabah and Sarawak. It shall be the responsibility of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong to safeguard the special positions of the Malays and natives of any of the states of Sabah and Sarawak, and the legitimate interests of the other communities in accordance with the provisions of this article. Although we do not know what are the legitimate interests here means and who are the other communities, but we can find out from Constitution's Article 160 that define the Malays and Article 161A that define the native of any of the state of Sabah and Sarawak. Under Federal Constitution Article 160, Malay means a person who professes the religion of Islam, habitually speaks the Malay language, conforms to Malay custom. These are the three main criteria for a citizen to become a Malay, regardless of ethnicity. That means a person could become a Malay as long as he professes in the religion of Islam, habitually speak Malay language and conform to Malay custom. He could be a Chinese, Malay, Indian or whatever races, as long as comply to the three criteria in Article 160. However, if the Malay left Islam, he will no longer entitled to the special positions under Article 153. All the special positions and privileges under Article 153 accorded to him will be forfeited. Therefore, Malay is not defined by phenotype, but the three main criteria in Article 160. Article 160 also defines what is Orang Asli. Orang Asli or Aborigine means Aborigine of the Malay Peninsula. As for the native of Sabah and Sarawak, it is defined in the Article 161A. This is a Venn diagram. Venn, V-E-N-N. I will use this Venn diagram and a matrix to illustrate my point. These are the community the Yang di-Pertuan Agong supposed to safeguard and protect their special positions under Article 153. From the Venn diagram, A is people in Peninsula Malaya, B is those professors in religion of Islam, C is people in Sabah and Sarawak, D is people who speak Malay and conform to Malay custom. Notice that there are two Malay, E and F. E is the Malay from Peninsula Malaya. F is Malay in Sabah and Sarawak. F is an element of C, which means the Sarawak Malay is also one of the native Sarawak, protected under Article 161A. Malay interpret under Article 160 is A intersect B intersect C intersect D, whereas native of Sabah and Sarawak is C. We do not know what others community in Article 153 means. It could be non-Malay in Peninsula Malaya and Sabah Sarawak, and also non-native of Sabah and Sarawak. Notice that the Malay ethnic E in the Peninsula Malaya is not the Malay defined in Article 160. Therefore, E is not an element of Article 160 Malay. Malay ethnic in Peninsula Malaya need to comply with Article 160 in order to become a Malay. Otherwise, there is no difference with other people in Peninsula Malaya. Item 1.2 are those entitled for the special positions under Article 153. Item 1, Article 160 Malay. Whether it's A, E, C or F, there is always B and D, because B is professors in Islam and D is speak Malay and conform to Malay custom. Item number 2, native of Sabah and Sarawak are those indigenous people in Sabah and Sarawak. Item number 3, other communities under Article 153. These are other communities that not found in the Article 160 Malay and Article 161A native of Sabah and Sarawak. Other communities could be Chinese Indian in Peninsula Malaya and also Sabah and Sarawak, but surely they are not Malay. The term is still ambiguous and open for interpretations. Item number 4, Aborigine or Orang Asal. They can be divided into Negrito, Semang and also Aborigine of Malay. Negrito and Semang lived in Malaya more than 65,000 years ago. They are the earliest settler in Malaya, followed by Proto-Malay. Proto-Malay migrated from Taiwan. They arrived Malaya approximately 3,000 years ago. They share the same ancestry with the Deutero-Malay, which is the Malay that professes in Islam and habitually speak Malay, conform to Malay custom. However, the Proto-Malay are not entitled to the special position under Article 153. Negrito Semang are direct descent of Africa, whereas Proto-Malay are Austronesians from Taiwan. Despite the differences, they are collectively called the Orang Asal or the Aborigine of Malaya. Whether Negrito, Semang or Proto-Malay, most of them do not believe in Islam. Item number 5. What Malaysia government understood Bumiputra? Based on Malaysia annual budget and spending, the Bumiputra they refer to are Malay ethnic that professes in Islam, but does not necessarily speak Malay and conform to Malay custom, and also the native of Sabah and Sarawak. But what seems like the only Bumiputra government care is under item number 6, which is the Malay ethnic. More than 97% of the annual budget is allocated for the item number 6, the Bumiputra of Malaya, and only 1.5% of the annual budget is allocated for the Bumiputra in Sabah and Sarawak. Item number 7, Bumiputra or native. Based on the Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka, the definition of Bumiputra is anyone that born in the country, whether it's Chinese, Indian, Malay, or the native of Sabah and Sarawak. Bumiputra is a Sanskrit word means son of the soil. That means anyone who born in the country. Item number 8. What is Malaya Malay in actual? Malaya Malay are Muslim, but they do not comply to Article 160 Malay because they adopted Arab name and patronymic naming structure instead of Malay name. Thus, they not comply to the habitually speak Malay and follow Malay custom in the Article 160. Malay attire nowadays also distorted from their traditional costume. Therefore, they shall not be considered as Malay race under Article 160 and shall not be accorded with the special positions. Item number 9 is the differences between Article 160 Malay and the government Bumiputra allocations. In regard to item number 8 and 6, we can observe that the Malaysia government only care whether the Malay professes the religion of Islam or not, but neglected other two criteria in the Article 160, which is habitually speak Malay and conform to Malay custom. This implies for more than 50 years, Malaysia government's budget and spending is unconstitutional. According to Wikipedia, traditional Malay names are such as Intan, Melati, Kembang, and Tua. It is widely used until Malaysia National Registration Department does not allow name that is deemed to have negative or obscene meanings such as pendek. This effectively render many traditional names illegal, including Puteh, Bulan, Surya, and Awam. Later, Malay adopted Arabic names and the patronymic naming structure. Arabizations also drastically changed Malay attire from traditional attire to the Arab. This effectively distorted from the Malay custom. As of 2021, Malaysia population by ethnic group consists of 69.8% Bumiputra, 22.4% Chinese, and 6.8% Indian. Budget for 2022 is unproportionately favoring the Malaya Bumiputra. 24.5818 billion ringgit Malaysia is allocated for Bumiputra in Malaya, and this budget is 97.12% against the populations of 54.44%. Chinese and Indian only got 345 million ringgit Malaysia, which is 1.363% against the population of 22.4%. Whereas the Sabah and Sarawak Bumiputra only got 384 million ringgit Malaysia, which is 1.517% against a population of 15.15%. This shows a huge disparity in terms of allocations between the Malaya Bumiputra and the Sabah Sarawak Bumiputra. 24.58 billion ringgit Malaysia for the Malay is equal to 1,380 ringgit per person. This translates to more than 17.8 times more than the Sabah Sarawak Bumiputra and 38 times more than the Chinese and Indian budget allocations. The 384 million ringgit for the Sabah Sarawak Bumiputra is only translate to 77.5 ringgit per person, whereas the Chinese and Indian total budget is 345 million ringgit Malaysia, which is only 36. The budget allocation for Malay is more than 97%. Aborigine or Orang Asli can be divided into three main categories: the Senoi, Aboriginal Malay, and Negrito or Semang. Negrito and Senoi are direct descent of African, whereas Aboriginal Malay are Austronesians came from Taiwan. Negrito and Senoi lived in Malaysia more than 65,000 years ago, whereas the Aboriginal Malay came here 3,000 years ago. Negrito or Semang consists of 55% of the total Orang Asli population, whereas the Aboriginal Malay consists of 42%, and the remaining 3% is Senoi. The Orang Asli predominantly still live in the jungle and adopt the nomadic lifestyle until today. Most of them are animistic, where they believe in natural spirit. However, Malaysia government seems trying to convert them into Islam by force. By right, under Constitution Article 8, equality, all persons are equal before the law and entitled to the equal protection of the law. This is overtly being ignored by Malaysia government for more than 50 years.